After the events of Act 3 in Silksong, we now know for sure that no matter the kingdom, digging the ground deep enough will have you reach the void. It probably acts as the planet's core, concentrated in a unified form rather than a spreadsheet. Of course, that is if we presume Team Cherry's universe as a round globe. Now the real question: why is the void's home called the Abyss? And not just in Hollow Nest, but in Farloom too. Why isn't it called Venom for Bugs, or Discord Mod's basement, or I don't know, Japanese oil? You didn't get the last one, did you? Anyway, let's get to it, but before that, I appreciate any form of support, even as small as hitting the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Gaze at the abyss long enough and the abyss will gaze back at you. That's Nietzsche. It means dealing with darkness will awaken the darkness inside you. This is the first line of thought Team Cherry used for naming this place. Once with the Knight, and then as we find out in an absolutely not worth it cutscene, with the Hollow Knight. Naturally it doesn't end here, but the real question is, who gazed at the abyss first? Well, that's no secret. It's the most iconic cutscene of the game. Pale King is standing above the abyss, literally staring at the consequence of his actions. Must have been a horrible view from his side. Little kids, thousands of them, climbing to be the one who will not be abandoned in a cage, but rather become a cage itself. So how did the abyss gaze back? Wasn't it only the Radiance who messed it all up? No, and here's why. Pale King didn't understand the void. Not truly. He didn't respect it enough to see it as a creature capable of thinking, capable of deliberate actions. What Pale King saw was a rabid dog, a wild animal or a force of nature that can easily be harnessed, like the wind. When you're building a windmill, you won't think the wind's gonna conspire against you, scheming your death. That's what Pale King thought, and that's why he built the lighthouse. But now we unfortunately know he was wrong. Dream nailing the lighthouse operator will give us these dialogues. Turn it off? Cannot. My king. I'm sorry. The sea calls. Seems like the void whispered to him, manipulated him, convinced him to turn the lighthouse off. When Genie got out of the bottle, it found its way up to the hidden palace, penetrating inside this mold and reaching Pale King himself. That's how he dies. As we learn in the Kingdom's Edge, higher beings are immortal. They can't die, but rather shapeshift and turn into another creature. Worm won't die, but transforms into Pale King. So how is he dead when we reach him in the throne room? We also learn through the endings that the only thing able to kill a higher being is the void. Now, inside the throne room, look closely and you see little pics of void floating in the air, pointing towards the presence of the void. Probably his way of saying I was here. That's what happened to Pale King. He didn't die of old age or guilt or despair. He stared at the abyss too long, tried to harness its power, and the abyss stared back, taking away his son, his life, and his kingdom. Seems like Team Cherry was upset with people not comprehending their school of thought, the meaning behind the abyss. We focused too much on the Radiance, apparently missed the void's part in the disaster, with some of us even rooting for it. Why not? Our hero was part void. Sure, made it easier, so they had to try once more, add an entire act and naming it the Abyss in uppercase to hammer home the meaning. Just like Pale King, the weavers sought a way to use the void to kill Grandmother. Whether they were smarter than him or not crafty as him, they aborted the plan and didn't bring the death clue to their kingdom. But it was too late. The gaze was already thrown, and the gaze back was inevitable. You see, I don't think the shaman snails connected this portal to the void just by themselves. I think the snare setter was like this by default. It was made to bring the void to Grandmother, not just entrap her. But the weavers deemed it too risky or just wanted to try different things. The snails weren't the masterminds here, they just tapped into it. So it was a matter of time until someone would assemble all of these and bring Lady Death to kill the Lady Pope. So that's the stairback, right? The void consuming Farloom? Nope. It's Lost Lace. Lace is the truest embodiment of Farloom. A child made by Grandmother to love her and worship her, but truly an empty husk who hates herself and wants to die. Loyal enough to do the Grandmother's bidding, rebel enough to defy her in the last dire moment. Grandmother wants to control every second of her life, until she can't. Just like Farloom, she thinks only she can keep her safe, and by doing so, she is slowly killing her. So the final boss is literally us fighting the stairback of the abyss, to repel its powers and desire life. Of course, the ending has a metaphorical meaning of Grandmother finally letting go, understanding love and leaving Lace and basically Farloom in Hornet's hands. Is she capable of saving them both? For that we have to wait for the DLC. Yeah, that's all. If you enjoyed, please hit the like button and subscribe, and don't you dare go hollow.